Hello dear students, good morning to all of you. As we have started in the previous class, third chapter that is related to public, private and global enterprise. And in this series, as we have already discussed that all the sectors have been divided into two parts, that is public sector and private sector. And in the public sector, it is under three terms, that is departmental undertakings, statutory corporation and government companies. So now today, as we have already discussed related to departmental undertakings and related to the features, merits and demerits of departmental undertaking, we have cleared all the doubts. Now today we will learn about a statutory corporation. So in this class we will learn about the meaning and definition of a statutory corporation, its features, merits and demerits. So dear students, first of all, while reading the name of a statutory corporation, you were thinking what is meant by a statutory corporation. So a statutory corporation means legal corporation or the corporation which is established under the special act passed in parliament or state legislative assembly, which main objective, power and functions are clearly defined in the special act. It means due to some specific work or due to some specific reason or with some specific objectives or functioning, if any corporate body is going to be amended in the parliament by passing a special resolution or by passing a special resolution act in parliament or in any state legislative assembly, then that corporation or that organization will be known as a statutory corporation. Or in simple way we can say that those organizations which are formed by the government by passing any special act in the parliament or in state legislative assembly, where the objectives, power and functions are clearly defined before its corporation, and the organization which is created or which is established due to certain requirement or due to performance of certain work under the government department, then that corporation or that organization is known as a statutory corporation. For example, LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, UTI, Unit Trust of India, or so many terms. Like if we are talking about PMC, Patna Municipal Corporation, it is also a kind of a statutory corporation because this is created by state by passing a special act in state legislative assembly with the motive to provide cleanness, upkeep and maintenance of the city as well as city or town as well as in the rural areas which are under the territory of PMC. So that the cleanness, upkeep and maintenance of the city can be maintained. So for this purpose, PMC, Patna Municipal Corporation, has been established, and therefore in the same way in a different district different municipal corporations are there, and these all have been established with some objectives, and before the establishment, all the objectives, power and functions have been clearly defined in the special act when it is passed or it is presented in state legislative assembly. So, dear students, now I think the definition of statutory corporation is clear to you all. Now, while after studying the definition of statutory corporation, some features of this corporation clear, in which first is it is established under a special act. It means there is no general act over there. It is formed or it is created under a special act which defines its objects, powers and functions. It means its objects and powers and functions are not general as the other companies or other organizations are working. Its objects and functions are specific and it will work in particular or a specific field or area of the society. Next, it has a separate legal entity like other companies. It has also a separate legal entity because the head of this organization may be changed, but this organization will continue forever and ever. Next is its management is vested in the board of directors appointed or nominated by government, because the directors or the management like CMD, Chief Managing Director, is going to be appointed because it is created by the government, and as we know that government is not constant, then how the management of the or the board of directors will be constant. So there is two committee, one is government committee and second is local committee. These two committees are prepared, and on the basis of this decision of these two committees, especially on the basis of decision of the government, the CMD, Chief Managing Director, or the board of the directors are appointed. Generally they appoint or they nominate the name of the person, name list of the person to be in the board of directors of the corporation. Next is it has its own staff recruited and appointed as per the provision of act. It means since government has formed it by passing a special resolution, but the staff will not be from anywhere. It has own right to recruit its staff or appoint its staff under the provision of recruitment and selection provision of this organization, and there is no right to the government that the government will appoint the staffs. The government will appoint only the managing director or the board of directors, and after that all the work will be performed by them related to recruitment and other work. Next is this type of enterprise is usually independently financed. It obtains fund by borrowing from government or from public or through earnings. It means after creation of these incorporations, these are different from departmental undertakings, because departmental undertakings are under the different departments, different ministry of departments, different department of the ministries, and they are controlled and financed by the particular ministry. But here after creation or after incorporation of the statutory corporation, now they are independent body and they can raise the fund by borrowing from the government or public or by working. Like LIC today is earning its own fund by issuing its different premium policies or selling its different premium policies in the market to the public. So these are independently financed. There is no security of finance by the government. If the government is providing finance, it will be a kind of loan to the particular department. Now next is, it is not subject to same accounting and auditing rules which are applicable to the government department. Since government departments are maintaining its books of accounts under government account term, therefore their accounting and auditing rules are different, and these statutory corporations have their different rules and regulations. Therefore the accounting and auditing rules will be different from other companies and departmental undertakings. So dear students, now I think on the basis of studying these features, statutory corporation is more clear to you all. Now we will move toward the study of its merits and demerits. So first of all, we will learn about the merits. So first is internal autonomy. As these are independent after creation, so these have a kind of internal autonomy, and they can operate their work freely without the interference of any political pressure or any political parties, like in Patna Municipal Corporation, like LIC, like NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation. These all have been created under a certain parliamentary resolution, and now today these are performing their work without the interference of the political parties. Next is quick decisions. It can take prompt decisions and quick decision as it is free from the prohibitory rules of the government, because government is not going to interfere again and again and implementing some rules and regulations regarding these corporations. So these organizations can take decision quickly. Next is parliamentary control. Only on these organizations parliamentary control is there related to proper use or ensure the proper use of public money. Since they are borrowing funds from the public, therefore only parliament can take decision and parliament can arise questions regarding proper use of public money. So on these organizations parliamentary control is over there, but no any certain or particular ministry or the political party will interfere or control over the working of the statutory corporation. Next is efficient management. Their directors and top executives are professional and experts. Therefore, these have different fields, from the different fields. That's why the effective or efficient management is possible over there. Now, as we know that each and every organization has its merits and demerits. So some demerits are also there, as we have already discussed that there is no government interference, but due to not much operational flexibility, it suffers a lot from political interference, because so many times political parties create a pressure that whenever they will be in power, they can issue any kind of notification related to that particular corporation or the particular person, and due to these kind of interference they suffers a lot. Next is, usually they enjoy monopoly in their field and do not have profit motive, due to which their working turns out to be insufficient. Yes, since these organizations have been created for welfare of the society, therefore these organizations do not have profit motive term, and that's why these terms turns out them to be insufficient, or sorry, inefficient. It means so many times they used to sit idle, or so many times if they are working, they are not working excitedly, they are working ruthlessly. It means they are not thinking about growth and development of the organization as well as themselves. They were simply thinking that they will do the work or not, they will get the salary or else. So efficiency of the worker or efficiency of the employee is not effective, and we can say that due to ruthless job, due to uninteresting job profile, the people become inefficient or the employees become inefficient. Next is, where there is a dealing with public, rampant corruption exists. It means so many times for completion of the work, so many employees offer for a particular amount like hush money or bribe, so that the work can be performed easily or work can be done easily. Thus, public corporation is suitable for undertaking required monopoly power. Example, public utilities. Therefore, in so many times, suppose that if we are talking about Patna Municipal Corporation, if anyone has to get the birth certificate, then they have to take so many rounds of that organization for issuing the birth certificate, for getting the birth certificate of their ward, because no one is listening over there. All of them are trying to get money from the public for issuance of particular certificate, and for this purpose they often try to disturb the public by making them move again and again. So due to monopoly of the power, so many times it creates disturbance in the society. So dear students, these were few demerits of the statutory corporation. Now if we think about the suitability, so it is suitable for organizing public enterprise when, but condition is there, it is suitable for public enterprise, but condition is when the enterprise requires special power under an act. It means it can be established, it can be formed, but when any special power is required to, it means for establishment of these organizations, especially parliamentary power is required. Second, the enterprise required a huge amount of capital investment, because the area of these corporations are very large, very wide. That's why a huge amount of capital investment is required there over there. So dear students, now I think today you have learned a lot regarding statutory corporation, its definition, its features, merits and demerits, and all these terms are clear to you all. Thank you.